put it into perspective. You see, the India's policy as far as reacting to incidences of terrorism, etc., were concerned, was given the nomenclature strategic restraint.
Right.
Now, I've been giving this a great deal of thought. Why strategic restraint? And this was the fear that because Pakistan had nuclear weapons, we didn't want the conflict to escalate. So it was under this nuclear umbrella that Pakistan continued with impunity with acts of terror in Jammu and Kashmir and in other parts of the country. Now,
Yeah.
imagine even after the parliament attack, such a heinous attack, you attacked India's parliament, there was no reaction. After Mumbai, there was no reaction. And all this was put under what we call strategic restraint. And
Right.
Pakistan kept on operating it with impunity. Now, this actually changed for the first time in 2016, when, in response to the Uri attack, we said, okay, we are going to attack. And then you carried out surgical strikes. And more importantly, they were announced. You see, the very next day, the Indian Army's DGMO went public with that announcement in front of the media. Okay, this is what we have done. Now that became the new normal. From strategic restraint, we had moved to what I term as compellence, as I beg your pardon, as deterrence. So we
Right.
went on that, okay, this is supposed to be deterrence, that if you do something, we are going to cross your territory and we are not concerned with the nuclear fallout.
Yeah.
So the nuclear bluff was called in 2016. Now what happens? You go 3 years later, and then Pahalgam takes place. I beg your pardon. Um, the
Pulwama,
attack in
Pulwama,
sorry,
Pulwama.
Pulwama takes place. My mistake. The attack in Pulwama takes place. Now that was unacceptable. And then in response to Pulwama, we did something much more than a surgical strike. You used the Indian Air Force for the first time after 1971, crossed into Pakistani airspace and destroyed a terror camp. That is again a part of the deterrence policy which was being followed. And
Yeah.
we thought that, okay, there will be some sort of, the lessons would have been learned. But they were not learned. And now Pahalgam takes place. Now, the question was, when Pahalgam took place, I've always considered it to be worse than even the Mumbai attacks and the Parliament attack, of the manner in which the targeting was done. It hit at the very soul of India. Now, this time when the targeting took place, it took place at multiple levels. You
Yeah.
first hit the terror camps, and then you hit the military targets. And now we have shifted to the policy which has shifted. I use the term compellence. From deterrence, we have shifted to compellence. We will
Yeah.
compel you to behave. And it has been amply clear by the Prime Minister the nuclear bluff will not work. But more importantly, along with the military measures, for the first time, the civilian measures also came into place, along with the Indus Water Treaty and
Yeah.
putting restrictions on Pakistanis coming into India. Now, it became a whole of India approach. This
Yeah.
approach stands and it's the new normal now. This is
Yeah.
what the general was referring to, the new normal. I think if there is going to be a terror attack and we can trace it to Pakistani soil, this time we are not going to hit the terrorist camps. We are going to
Yeah.
hit at the sponsors of terror. It will be military targets across Karachi, across Pakistan. It doesn't matter where they hide, they will be hit. Zafar.
Right. But that's a very important point that, of course, India has now made it clear that there's no difference between a state sponsored terror and a non state actor. I think that's the most important point that has been said now. There is no difference between what used to happen earlier, that you say these are non state actors. They're not in the control of the state, they're not in the control of the Pakistani army. But that that entire theory has been changed now. Ambassador Veena Sikri, how significant is this change, this shift? And that Operation Sindoor has been suspended, it has not been ended, which means that if there is a terror attack, there will be a prompt response now.
Absolutely, and may I say that even in the one or two instances where the Pakistan side has tried something across the border, they have received a befitting reply. So I think that the government of India has shown that it is very serious about what it said. And not only in addition to what you're saying, as what General Kutosh had said about the compellence, there is
Yeah.
also this clear understanding that there is now no distinction between what was earlier the garb of deniability that Pakistan used, saying that these are
Yeah.
non-state actors. And that deniability has been ripped away, and there is absolutely no difference. And any kind of attack which we know, we've seen, for example, that when the terror infrastructure was hit on May the 7th, senior Pakistan Army officers attended the funerals of the innumerable terrorists who were killed. And they made it quite clear that these are one of us. The Pakistan Army let it be known to the world that these are one of us. So that deniability has gone. And there is no difference now between these terror groups and the state which is sponsoring the terror groups. And I'd like to draw attention to one more point, which is actually very important. And that is that since the last 1 year, Pakistan has been carrying its state-sponsored terrorism and its terrorist activities across the continent into Bangladesh. And
Yeah.
they have, in fact, been trying their best to embed themselves with the Bangladesh army.
Yeah.
And the ISI and the senior Pakistan Army officers are now posted almost regularly. In fact, there's been a note recently that they want even this. The Pakistan High Commission in Dhaka to be strengthened. They want more brigadiers and colonels and support staff there from all the three services, and they are sending brigadiers on short-term assignments, posted with various divisions of the Bangladesh Army. And we know that the kind of exchanges of senior army officers between Bangladesh and Pakistan has increased enormously. Recently, the number 2 of the Pakistan Army, Asim Munir's number 2, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, he was there in Bangladesh very recently. Before that, even more senior officers, and they're being taken to forward areas. So we are keeping a close track of this, and they should know that there is no way to hide, because we do know also that the Pakistan ISI and the Turkey's MIT, their intelligence agency is called the MIT, they are working together in Bangladesh, fomenting Islamist uprising. In fact, what is happening in Bangladesh, that Mohammed Yunus has seen that in the last 1 year, ever since he took charge on the 8th of August 2024, the support for the liberal secular forces has not gone down. You have the support for the Awami League still existing. You have the support for the BNP, and they also attach high importance to the liberation of existing. So, seeing that this support is not going down, they're now whipping up. And Pakistan's ISI and Turkey's MIT are doing this aggressively. There are plans being circulated. There are talks about Islamic Revolutionary Army. All kinds of discussions are there. There are tweets by people who are very close to Mohammed Yunus about this. So I think that Pakistan has to know that this too is being kept a very close watch on. And they should not think that if just we're keeping a watch on the Western sector with what Pakistan is doing there, we are also keeping a watch on the Eastern sector. And Asim Munir's threat that the next attack is going from the East has not gone unheard in India. And this is a very